Hey, so my wife has this video assignment, so I thought we'd play around a little bit and talk about stuff. So I was thinking, if you asked me why my wife's a great real estate agent, what story would I have? So last night we went to Buffalo Wing Factory because it was kind of a graduate, I got through another class. So it was kind of my night, but it was funny because in the middle of all this, she looked at the guy beside her and said, "Oh, hey, Dan, how's it going?" And every once in a while, she does this thing where she goes house to house, and this is how she markets in her farm area. And it's funny because when she first started doing it, I remember thinking to myself, this has got to be the worst experience ever. And, I always want to encourage her, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, that's like the worst thing ever, right? I mean, I could never go and have strangers come up and say, "Don't put that on my, porch or whatever." And we actually even had a guy one time call and in the middle of the night because she has her phone number on there saying, "Don't ever do this again, or I'm going to call the police." So she's already kind of my hero from that perspective. But anyway, there's this one guy who I don't know all the details, but he said, "I don't need a real estate agent. I'm selling my own house." But in the middle of this, it's funny how, even last night when we saw him, he'll throw out, "Well, I've got stage 4 cancer," which basically means there's no going back. And so I can see if, but Vicky, because she goes and every month she walks her farm area, and that's kind of how she meets people. And although it's, the goal is ultimately to, sell and buy, real estate and help people do that. It's interesting because this person who she has no, real end game, because he's already decided, "I don't need any help selling my house." They've formed kind of this friendship. It's almost like he seeks her out because he's got cancer. He's at home. He's essentially retired. And so it's funny because last night became this, long conversation, first about how he's having trouble, and and we just had a great time with this guy that she met on the, her route, her farm area. And so anyway, the reason I mention this is, I remember when I was looking for a real estate agent, it was just this thing like, oh, it's some insider's game and you're going to lose. But what I think how my wife has done well is she really cares about the people. And it's almost never about, how much money are you going to make. She markets to the houses she knows. She doesn't go for necessarily the big houses that are these $1 million houses. But she really does get to know, her farm area and all these other people. So, I didn't do as good a job as I wanted.